Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're here, I know you're just as curious and inspired by Elçin Sangu as the rest of us. Today, we're diving into one of her most open and sincere interviews yet. You'll hear personal reflections, behind the scenes insight, and some honest answers about her life, career, and even her connection with Barardu. If you are a fan of Elçin or even just someone who appreciates talent with real heart, this video is for you. Let's get started. It has been 5 years since audiences first truly discovered Elçin Sangu and were captivated by her charm. But what has changed in her life since then? When asked, she didn't hesitate. "I've stepped into a completely different chapter," she said. "As a person, I've changed. Back then, I was calmer, more reserved, still cheerful and full of energy. Yes, but now, I feel free. I'm no longer afraid to speak up. That's the biggest shift in me." She says that finding her voice wasn't just about the fame or the success, it was about growing into her own skin. Becoming a woman who knows her worth, who understands her voice matters. And for many fans, that's exactly what makes her so inspiring. But of course, one of the most iconic roles that helped shape her public image was her portrayal of Defi. When asked how she connected with that character, she smiled and said something we all kind of suspected. "Defi and I, we're alike. She's colorful, funny, full of life. My friends even joked that I wasn't acting, I was just being myself. And you know what? That's probably why the performance felt so real." But let's talk about the part not everyone loves: fame. When asked about how she's dealt with becoming so well known, her answer was surprisingly grounded. She said, "It's strange. It feels like before all this, you didn't exist in people's eyes. But I was already working, already acting. What changed wasn't me, it was how people responded to the work. I've always wanted people to say, 'She's talented, she's professional, she's kind.' That means so much more to me than just being called beautiful." That's the kind of humility you don't always hear in this industry. And it's clear that for Elçin, acting isn't about attention, it's about doing the job well, respecting the craft, and connecting with audiences in a meaningful way. Of course, people are curious, are there limits to the roles she'll take? When asked directly, she was clear and honest. "I don't do nude scenes," she said. And that's that. No drama. Just a clear boundary. It's part of how she navigates her career, with intention and integrity. Now, let's talk about a subject that always comes up when Elçin is mentioned: Barardu. When asked about him, her face lit up. "Bar is hilarious. We laugh so much together," she said. "I always say, the energy on set matters. If you have harmony, if you have genuine friendships, that transfers onto the screen. And when things are bad behind the scenes, the audience can feel it. You can't fake that balance." It's a powerful reminder of how much behind-the-scenes chemistry can influence what we see on screen. And it sounds like their connection wasn't just good acting, it was a real friendship built on laughter and respect. As the conversation turned more personal, the interviewer asked something a little cheeky: "Do you see yourself as sexy or innocent?" Elçin laughed and said, "Depends on the moment. Sometimes sexy, sometimes sweet, but mostly, I think I'm cute." Then she added, "You know, I think men don't just look for sexy. They want a woman who's both innocent and charming. A balance. A woman who makes them smile." When asked what she thought made a woman truly sexy, her answer came without hesitation: intelligence. That one word said more than a long explanation ever could. She's been part of many projects with Barardu, and it's obvious they had fun working together. Their laughter, their lightness, and their shared energy, it all left an impression on audiences that still lingers. "I hope we get to work together again," she said, smiling. "And I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say we were hoping for that too. Seeing two actors who genuinely enjoy each other's company, who bring out the best in each other, is rare. And when they come together on screen, something magical happens." But until that day comes, Elçin continues her journey, choosing roles that reflect her strength, protecting her boundaries, and living a life she's proud of. She doesn't chase headlines. She doesn't create scandal. She just shows up, does the work, and keeps surprising us with how deeply human she really is. So if you ever wondered what Elçin Sangu is like beyond the roles, beyond the red carpets, this interview gave us a glimpse. And what we saw was a woman in full control of her story. Strong, thoughtful, funny, smart, and still discovering new things about herself every day. And maybe that's what makes Ellen different. While others are chasing trends, viral clips, or trying to reinvent themselves with every project, she's staying grounded. She's choosing roles that mean something to her. She's picking scripts that offer depth, not just attention. In a world full of noise, Ellen seems to be tuning into what actually matters. Over the years, she's said no to many roles. Some of them were high-paying, some were high-profile. But if the project didn't align with her values or didn't feel right emotionally, she stepped away. And that is not always easy in an industry that expects women to say yes to everything just to stay relevant. But Ellen knows her worth. She's not afraid of silence. She's not afraid of taking her time. She once said in another interview that when she reads a script, she imagines herself as the character, not just how the audience would see it, but how she would feel living in that character's shoes. If the feeling isn't there, she lets it go, no matter how tempting the offer might be. That level of self-respect is rare, and it shows up in her performances. Every character she plays feels honest, not forced, not exaggerated, just honest. And people feel that. It's one of the reasons her fans are so loyal. They're not just watching her, they're rooting for her. They're seeing someone who's trying to do it right, even when the easier path is more glamorous. But she's not just a performer. She's also a person with fears, with hopes, with real human moments. And she's not afraid to talk about them. In this same interview, when the topic turned to vulnerability, Ellen didn't flinch. She admitted that there are still moments when she questions herself. Still days when she wonders if she's doing enough, if she's growing fast enough, if she's living up to her own expectations. That kind of honesty is powerful, because it reminds the rest of us that even those who seem confident, strong, and in control still have doubts, still get scared, still grow. When asked about her future, she didn't make a big speech. She didn't list a bunch of goals. She just said, "I want to keep evolving. I don't want to stay the same. I want to be surprised by who I become 5 years from now." That kind of mindset, that's where greatness lives. She also talked about the importance of relationships, not just romantic ones, but friendships, family ties, creative partnerships. She believes that the people you surround yourself with shape you. They reflect back the version of you that either keeps you stuck or pushes you forward. That's why, she says, she protects her circle. She chooses peace over popularity, connection over chaos. And maybe that's why, when you see her laugh in an interview or tear up during an emotional scene, it doesn't feel like acting. It feels like truth, like someone who's living with her heart open, even when it's hard. She said one more thing that stayed with me long after the interview ended. Success fades, looks fade, but if you keep growing as a person, if you keep learning how to love better, to listen better, then you'll always have something real. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. So if you've been inspired by Ellen, by her strength, her grace, her honesty, just know you're not alone. There's a reason so many people feel connected to her. There's a reason her words hit home. Because she reminds us that you can be in the spotlight without losing yourself. That you can be soft and strong at the same time. That you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. And that's the kind of role model we need more of. Thank you for staying with me through this story. If Ellen's words moved you, or if you just love hearing about real, grounded people doing meaningful work, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. You can also click the join button below if you'd like to support the channel and be part of the community in a deeper way. Until next time, take care of yourself. Be kind, be curious, and don't be afraid to speak up for the version of yourself you're still becoming. I'll see you in the next video.